Hi, and welcome to this episode of John's Model Kit Review. Today, we are looking at Otaki's classic Kawasaki Ki-100 Tony. This is kit number 9 in their 1/48 scale airplane series. In this model kit review, we are going to be looking at the built-up kit. We'll take a look at the instructions, we'll take a look at the surface detail of the kit, and I'll try to answer the question, is this classic Otaki kit still worth building? I'll also talk about some of the weathering techniques I used and any additions I did to enhance detail on the kit. I'm pretty sure this kit dates back to the 1970s, and so when I look at the plastic parts on it, when I look at the surface detailing on the parts, it has a lot of engraved rivet detail to it. It has engraved panel lines. It has a one-piece canopy. And if you look at the detailing on the interior, it's very basic detailing. I built this kit many years ago, and it's one of the first kits that I used an airbrush on. Honestly, I think it turned out really nicely. I'm actually surprised at how much the rivet detail shows up in the pictures. It's probably just due to the very bright lighting I have to use. The rivet detail really doesn't show up quite as much on the real kit in person when you see it. The surface detailing on this kit actually looks very nice to my eye. It doesn't look overdone as did some of the kits of the time period. The rivet detail is honestly pretty fine. The engraving is very consistent over the exterior of the kit. I really like how this kit turned out. Looking at the instructions, these are classic Japanese kit instructions from the 70s. Therefore, in all of the instruction sequences, everything's in Japanese. But a nice feature of this kit, it actually has a full-page printout in English of the kit instructions. It doesn't have diagrams, but it has all of the instructions in English. So that's really nice for a kit of the time period. In looking at the instructions, step 1 is building up the interior, and it's a very basic interior. It's not parts heavy. This would be very suitable for a beginner. It's also not the most accurate. And this is an area where this Otaki kit really does fall short of the newer Hasegawa kit. Step 2, it's closing up the fuselage halves around the interior. Step 3 is assembling the wing. Step 4 is mating the wing to the fuselage assembly and assembling the tail planes. Step 5 covers the engine. And the engine is kind of tucked away. It's not a lot that's going to be seen through the engine cowling just by the design of the aircraft itself. The wing to fuselage fit on this kit is good, the tailplane fit is good, and this kit's going to require some minor dry fitting, but overall parts fit is very, very nice. Moving on, step 6 covers the engine cowling and cooling flaps. Step 7 is assembling the landing gear. There's a lot going on in step 8, and it covers the fuel tanks, the landing gear covers. It also covers the oil cooler on the kit, and the small air intake underneath the fuselage. Step 9 just covers the assembly of the tail wheel. And step 10 is adding the final bits, the cockpit transparencies, the radio mast, the pitot tube, and the propeller. Moving on to the decal guide and marking options here. It has a nice plan view of the aircraft and an underside view, and then it also has side views of the 3 aircraft. And thankfully, all 3 of the marking options represented in this kit are also represented in full color diagrams. As far as the decals go on this kit, Otaki is really hit or miss when it comes to decals. I've had some of their kits where the decals were unusable, but these honestly worked great. They went down nicely. I didn't have any issues with them. They seem to be a pretty complete set of decals for the aircraft. As far as the clear parts on the kit, I am doing another one of these, and this time I will actually dip the canopy in Future prior to putting it on the plane, and it should be a little bit clearer than the one that is on this model. Although the kit interior is very basic, you really can't see much through the cockpit canopy. Another area that falls short on this kit is the landing gear wells. They're not really realistic at all. They're very shallow, and they just have some busyness thrown in there, so they look semi-realistic. The Hasegawa kit is going to have a much more detailed wheel well. Another curious feature on this kit, the tires themselves on the kit on the main landing gear have a raised rib right around the center of the wheel. And I would honestly just replace the kit wheels. Another thing I did, I used some plastic rod for the gun barrels on the upper cowl. Those look nice. I like the way those turned out. On the next one that I'm building, I'm actually adding a landing light to the left wing. of the aircraft. And I didn't do that on this kit. I didn't bother with it. This is one of the older kits that I've done, and I have gone back and I have revisited this kit over the years to try out new weathering techniques. So I originally painted this aircraft in the Japanese Army green over natural metal on the undersides, and I did not weather it at all. It was very cleanly done. And then after reading about certain techniques, I would go back and try them on this plane. And so I've actually gone back in and revisited several times. In conclusion, well, right off the bat, Hasegawa makes a very nice, more modern Ki-100. And so you might ask the question, well, with a more modern kit out, is this one still worth building? If you want the most accurate representation, if you want the best interior, if you want the best wheel wells on the kit, I would say the Hasegawa is definitely the way to go. As far as the surface detailing on the exterior of the kit, it's a toss-up for me. The Hasegawa is a little bit on the plain side. And honestly, in person, this kit looks very nice, and I do like the engraved rivet detail. It's subtle enough, it looks really good, especially under the dark paint, and I really like it. It's also an awesome kit for beginners or less experienced modelers or modelers getting back into the hobby. It's very simple. This is really a weekend slammer. It's not going to give you any real major fit challenges, and it's going to turn out and look like a nice model. I still like it on the shelf. I just had a lot of fun working on it and then revisiting it and trying out new techniques. Even today, it still makes a nice representation of a Ki-100. Well, I'd love to know what you guys think. If any of you have built this kit previously and want to share your experience in the comment section below, please feel free to do so. As always, I hope you found this video entertaining and informative, and until next time, model on.